Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Liz and this is Let's Get Lizical, where we do everything card making. And today's our first holiday card hijinks hashtag for the year. And today's prompt is cozy. So I'll be using this Cozy Toes Slippers die from Spellbinders that I got from Yvonne, who's one of my viewers and supporters. She sent me a ton of things, and you guys can see what she sent me on Tuesday because I have a massive haul video coming out on Tuesday, and I will show you everything she sent me. Again, thank you, Yvonne. You're the best. You didn't have to do that. This one die would have sufficed. I mean, you didn't even have to do that, to be honest, but I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. I will be using this quite a bit. But today we're making a Christmas card, because we do Christmas cards on the 25th of every month, and it's fun. You know, there are other challenges out there for Christmas cards and whatnot, but decided to do my own. Mine comes with prompts. So if you head on over to my Instagram, then you can check out the prompt list for the year. I can also post it in my community posts on YouTube if that's helpful for anybody. If you don't have Instagram and would like to play along, it's, again, really fun. I enjoy doing Christmas cards so much, and this just helps you, you know, start building up your stash, and the prompts, I think, help with direction. But if you want to post just anything, that's fine too. Just hashtag HCH2025 and tag Let's Get Lizical so I can see your creations. And let's get on to the card. So I don't own any peach colored cardstock, and I was like, okay, well, I'll just cut white and make my own. I have the ink for it, so I might as well use it. I don't see me using it really for anything else. I buy the ink cubes from Simon's Positively Saturated line, so you get like 6 colors in there, and sometimes I wanted like one set of the 6, which is like the 3 colors, and not necessarily the other one, but this one does come in handy, so you can't buy them individually. So anyway, I just grabbed my scraps of cardstock, which were in those accordion folders that you guys saw. I keep all of my like rainbow colors in one folder, and then I have neutrals and vellum and acetate in the other one. So one again has, you know, standard rainbow colors. The neutrals one is like browns in one section, then cool grays, warm grays, black, white, and then I have vellum, acetate, and then I have a couple of like die cut, well, not die cut, like digital cut panels that I've used previously. So that's what I use those for. They're really great to hold the scraps. I have been starting to put certain colors into like Ziploc bags within that section, just because they do get a little messy, just like tossing in scraps. Every once in a while I'll go in and sort them out so that they're like lightest to darkest, top to bottom, like front to back kind of thing. And then it just gets messy because I get lazy and just kind of like toss things in there. So I find that the Ziploc bags on top of the sections just helps me grab like a certain color, and then I just go through whatever pieces fit best with whatever I'm working on. And for the white ones here, I'm using the textured cardstock that I bought from Walmart like years ago when I first started card making. And I just thought it would give it a little bit more texture, a little bit more dimension to the card, and we're kind of like cutting like socks and slippers kind of thing. So it gives it that like fabric feel to it, I guess. And I like cutting it for like Santa's hat and pom-pom and whatnot. And I also just did it for the beard too, because those dies are together anyway. And then I'm using this pattern paper again that Yvonne sent me, and it's like the perfect like pajama plaid. I love it so much. This side would have worked as well, like the back side of it was just like mitten print. So it's kind of like pajama-y as well. So I'm probably going to be making quite a bit of these for Christmas time, maybe in the different styles, and I'm going to be using them individually on like different cards too as well. You'll probably see this quite a bit, but like there's quite a few different styles in this set. Like there's the reindeer, Santa, and a penguin, which are your more Christmassy ones or winter. And then there's a rabbit for bunny slippers, which is adorable. and would be good for like Easter, if you do Easter cards. And then there's like this little dinosaur type foot, dragon, whatever you want it to call it. It's just like a little plushy clawed foot. I do have to like look at the website and see if there's a little bit more instructions. The one thing with like spellbinders I find is they don't give too much direction on like how to layer things. They'll just show like, here's the dies, here's the finished product. But there's like one die in here I didn't even use because I didn't notice it was like part of a sole, I guess. But there's another piece attached to it that looks kind of like one of those little like opening that you would see on like a header card on a peg or something hanging in a shelf in a store. Like, I don't know what that piece is for. I don't see it anywhere on any of these images. So I need to figure out what that's for. They've shown it like a couple times in the photos, but I still don't see where it gets put. So maybe I'm missing something? I'm not sure. If anything, it might be for the eye sections, for cutting out the black behind it. Again, I'm not sure, but I just use like a scrap of cardstock and just trim it away. I find that faster. But we'll see if we can figure out what that piece is for. And until then, we're just going to assemble our little Santas today. I ended up cutting his nose in red to start with, and like, I don't want it to be the same shade as the hat. It is in the image, but I usually do Santa's nose just like a darker peachy color. I am going to give him like cute little cheeks a bit later when I add a bit more to these. These are very simple and easy to put together. Just takes a little time, and some of the dies laid out. Sometimes I love it the way Spellbinders does things, and then sometimes I don't understand their thought process behind some of these. Like for this, the beard comes together with the fur trim on the hat and the pom-pom, which makes sense because they would all be white. But there's like a beard, and then there's 2 fur trims, and then 2 pom-poms. So the only time you would use that is if you are going to double layer it. I just did because the pieces were there. It's not necessary, but it does add a little bit more dimension if you want. But I probably would have just included, you know, 1 beard, 1 fur trim, 1 pom-pom together, and then that would be it. Or I would have just added a second beard to it, just so that you're not having to cut it twice. You can just do it the one time. And then for the noses, it's like the reindeer's nose, the penguin's mouth, and Santa's nose all get cut out at the same time. But those would never be the same color unless you're cutting them out in white and coloring them separately, which I would probably do most of the time anyway. But again, like I probably would have grouped those with something else if it was possible. I don't know if it really makes sense. The penguin's nose would probably be the only thing that's like an orange or a yellowy color in this set. So maybe that's why they put it together. And then Santa's nose and the reindeer they have as a red, so that I guess that makes sense to put it together, but I probably would have just put it with the hat. That's just being a little nitpicky though. Again, as like a product developer, I also try to think of the ways that we can like easily cut things out and, you know, just do things together, do as little cuts as possible. But anyway, back to the card. So I am on the struggle bus with my glue today. I bought these new glue bottles on Amazon, and I think they're just like knockoffs of kind of what you would get for Barely Art glue, because they're supposed to have like this needle tip is supposed to screw into the top. Like it has all the screw bits to it, but the lid itself does not. So it kind of just sits on the nozzle, which is weird. And then the seal on the threads of the actual lid to the bottle, just like if we put too much pressure on it, it just like leaks out the side. So I'm returning the rest of them. But that should be my last complaint for today. Anyway, I'm using a 3D embossing folder from Simon Says Stamp called Wooden Planks. I bought this a long time ago and haven't used it yet, so I pulled it out of that handy dandy basket that I have with all new products that need to be used, and I'm using this one today. And I'm using Nina Desert Storm cardstock, and we're just gonna, I put a little bit of ink on it in the cappuccino, but because it was like more tonal, I guess, to the cardstock. Like, it's a little bit darker. And I put it on the wrong side of the embossing folder. I put it on the back, which you'll notice because like all these wooden planks kind of like where the grout or whatever would be in between the planks kind of like sticks up. It shouldn't stick up, it should go in. So I end up flipping it over and I'm just kind of ink blending over the top of it. I started doing it and then I decided to trim it down just because when you ink blend edges of cardstock, it does turn out a little bit darker. So I wanted that to happen and I wanted to make sure that I got those darker edges. So you want to trim your cardstock before if you want to do that. If you don't want those darker edges, trim it after and then they won't be there. But yeah, I'm just adding a bit on the top just to give it a little bit more dimension. This one corner just kept like bunching up on me, which was annoying, but it is what it is. I didn't do it super even or anything. It's mostly around the edges. This area is going to be covered up by the legs and the slippers anyway. And then I'm just going to use this set from Mama Elephant for the sentiment. And this card took me about, I think, 45 minutes total to put together. Most of it was spent in die cutting because it doesn't, again, take too long to put the pieces together once they're all together. But in order to cut all the pieces out and make sure you have enough of everything in the right colors, it does take a little bit of time to organize that, which I find with most, multi-layered die sets, and it's fine. If you wanted to spend maybe like a day die cutting a whole bunch of them and you would just have them ready to go for future cards, I think that would be like a good use of a day. You could just like die cut all afternoon, different die cuts depending on what you're using. It doesn't even have to be this, it could be any die set. It just comes in handy to have those things ready if you just want to sit down and create at a later date and not have to do all this prep work. Like I could have done this off screen and then just showed you guys how to put it together, but I wanted to show you the entire process from start to finish. I think it's much more helpful that way. I know sometimes I do die cut off screen just to help save time, and sometimes I don't want to film the whole process, depending on how long it takes me up front as well. So, and like for my holiday card series, I usually make sure to do everything up front just because I do film all 12 videos within like 2 days usually. So I try to do all my prep work in the weeks upcoming to that, just here and there, and then have it all ready to go to show you guys. But throughout the year, if I have the time, I will do it live like this. You're just watching me do it sped up, that's all. And if I don't have the time that week, maybe I can do the prep work then, but I'll try to do this as much as possible. For the sentiment, I just kind of like bubble cut around it, and I'm just gonna put it on the same level as the legs. So I'm just propping up the left side with some foam tape, and then the right side we're just gonna add a bit of glue and put it on the card. And then this will go on the card base itself. I end up adding some highlights to the hat, some alcohol marker accents, like little shadows here and there, just to give it a little bit more dimension. I do color the bottom portion of like the sock or slipper in a gray color, just to like break up that white a little bit. But off screen, I decided to actually do it in red instead. So in the final photos and in the thumbnail, you kind of see that red at the bottom, and it just makes it look like it's like Santa's shirt or whatever underneath, and the red looks much better than the gray did. But yeah, that's pretty much our card for today, guys. Thanks again for joining me. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Comment down below and let me know what your thoughts are. Do you have this die set? Have you used it? What else do you have planned for it? I have lots of plans for these. So you'll see them on the legs, off the legs, and whatnot throughout the year. And yeah, so until next time, guys. Thanks. Bye.